everything becomes more important because there's less of it. So in a way, less is more, but there's less of it, which it creates more. You have to be more careful in what you're doing. So it puts you more inside the music, more in tune, in a different kind of way. To move on a little bit further in this concept would be what I call the melodic bass line approach. I know that may sound funny, but it's rhythmically, think like a bass player. But since I have 6 strings and I'm able to access all these crazy frets, I can keep the same idea of a bass player walking 4 beats to a bar, like 1, 2, 3, 4, ding, ka, dang, dang. But instead of just the 4 beats being played as a bass player would play them, I will play them melodically. In other words, I will play on upper strings and move around and try to create quarter note melodies. Again, I'm going to choose this song, Stella by Starlight. I will play first by myself a chorus, walking these melodic bass lines, and then John will join me. Maybe we'll play a couple of choruses after he joins me. Because I want to show how this thing kind of grows. Okay, so again, I'll count a tempo. And I got it 1 chorus, and then John joins me. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope that's kind of clear. I mean, this is, again, the pulse is more like a bass player might play, but a bass player might play more in the function of a bass, like, more in the lower strings and play things that a bass player would play, more supportive. This is taking that idea and extending it into the upper registers and making quarter note melodies. And you find if you practice this way for a while, what actually happens, it's a strange thing. In a way, you kind of become bored with what you're doing. You reach a certain point where you can't play in the scale anymore, and you can't play in rhythm anymore. You need to find a way to break out of it. Maybe I could give a little example of that. Like, in other words, I'm going to be playing the 4/4, but then I'll start to. It's like rhythmically altering what I did with the 2 notes in the previous example. This is doing it with the 4 notes. I was doing some of it as we played, but let me demonstrate. Maybe at a slower tempo. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was a little, some liberties I was taking, or quite a few liberties actually. I was trying to just use the quarter note idea, the pulse, to generate improvisation. I wasn't staying with it all the time. I was accenting it in different places. I was playing it a little turned around. I was using other devices like triplets, because it's hard for me sometimes just to play, now I'm only going to play quarter notes, or give myself that much of a limitation. But I think you can see what it does. It's another way to hear through chord changes. You're hearing in a more melodic, simple way. And it's also, again, like the previous example with the half notes, it's good for your rhythm. Because you have to really concentrate not only on what the note is and what the direction you're moving, but the rhythm of it's very simple. You're only dealing with 4 notes per bar, basically. So they have to be in time. If they're not, they're going to sound really bad. I mean, you can get away maybe playing a whole bunch of notes and cover up bad rhythm, but when you deal with like half notes and quarter notes, your rhythm becomes very obvious. Either you're playing with good rhythm or you're playing with bad rhythm. Either you're dragging or rushing or whatever, It puts you more in contact with the feeling of the whole thing. So I think this idea of 2 notes and 4 notes per chord, the idea of intervals, the idea of triads, these are all limiting kind of devices which will... The basic principle behind all these things is really to get you to hear, or get me, so I'm the one who decided to play this way, get me to hear what I play, more in touch with it. And one of the reasons I started doing this, was because I played for so many years, I played, for lack of a better word, fusion music, which I enjoyed very much, but it was devoid of harmony, this kind of harmony, jazz harmony. It was also devoid of a jazz feel. There was no, like drummers didn't play with a ding-ding-a-ding swing feel. It was all like 8th note rock and roll feel. So the harmony was gone and the jazz sense of rhythm was gone. And when I came back to trying to play this music, I found a lot of deficiencies. So to get myself centered, it's another way to look at these things, is they center yourself. It helped to center me, my rhythm, and my sense of playing on changes again, because I had forgotten how to do it. And I wanted badly to get back to it, but it was hard to, if you leave something alone, you can't just jump back into it. You kind of say, gee, I've been away from it for a while. It's like an athlete who's been away from, you just, gee, how do I do it? So you go back to bar 1, basics, what do I practice? Well, how about half notes and quarter notes? Man, that's pretty basic, So that led me into this, and it's improved my, hopefully improved my sense of how changes move and how I improvise. And it's helped my rhythm. My time, I feel, is a lot better than it used to be.
One thing about